So every car guy has a little bit of an obsession. There's one car that you will simply want for reasons you can never truly understand. For me, it's always been slightly older Volvos and E38 7 Series BMWs. And again, it's just a thing I can't explain. And for Kon, his obsession is clearly E39 5 Series BMWs. It's a car that's never managed to escape his imagination. The perfect marriage of beautiful BMW design with that typical expected 6-cylinder character from beneath the bonnet. That perfectly balanced chassis, that beautiful timeless design has always been the car that's on Kon's mind. However, there are two of them now. And while the silver car started as an expression of passion and a realization of a dream, two is the start of an addiction.
It's dumb.
Yes, indeed.
It's dumb. And before we continue, how did you say all that in one take? I'm trying to learn here, guys.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I'm short. I'm not particularly good looking, but thank God, God bless me with something.
Okay, so the thing is that this car is something that has held fascination over me since my college days.
Yeah.
Since my maybe my high school days.
Yeah.
And I still remember back then when I was in Kelana Jaya, there's this one house in somewhere in SS5. Had this maroon color E39, drives around in the evening with the and when it drives around with just the 4 rings on the headlights, I was like, wow, I think all that it's like, one day I'm going to treat myself to one of these, and I've always had the fascination with the car since then. In fact, I think the E39 was the first car I remember that had signature lighting.
Yes.
It was the car that pioneered signature lighting.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So and I always told myself I own one, but I didn't own one earlier in my life because I thought that BMW maintenance going to be expensive and all that. So I waited until I was a bit in better financial shape. Then finally I got a bit of money and I bought this guy here.
Yeah. So, like I said in the intro, this is a realization of a dream.
Yeah.
And your process with this car has been very well documented in terms of the money you spent on it, the amount of time that you lavished on it.
Yes.
And are you happy with how this is now? Or?
I am. In fact, this car, this is what I consider to be currently at present, it's all I need really. Okay. The only upgrades that I can think of right now, I'm still toying with. Maybe I want to put an Android head unit purely for the purpose of reverse camera integration. All right. As at this one, any parent will be able to identify . But the thing is that I signed to do that because this car, the center stack, the pixels are perfect. The pixels are perfect, and any E39 owner will tell you, or BMW owner of the era will tell you, perfect.
That's a rare thing.
Yes.
For the uninitiated, BMW dot matrix displays from cars of this vintage are known for failing.
Yes.
As someone who has dealt with a couple of 3 Series BMWs of about this age, it's entirely true, happens all the time.
I look at it I want to do it, but at the same time it means taking out that cluster, that center stack there, and sayang lah,
Yeah.
Then of course the other thing the other upgrade that I would consider if I have the funds would be to put a bigger engine in this. This is the base 520i 2.2. So the ideal engine that you would want with the E39 actually would be the 3-liter.
Okay.
2100 road tax, yes, but the power delivery of the 3-liter is just nice for the body size of this car.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So I have driven a few examples of the 3-liter, and I said, that is all the car that I need.
So you painted yourself into a corner, unfortunately, because you mentioned that this is all the car you need. So explain this one.
Okay, so the story is, so some of you guys who watch my channel, some of you may not. So I have a Ford S-Max at home. That's my family car. That was also the car that I bought for my wife to use. But in recent days, my wife has grown to prefer driving this car.
As anyone could understand.
Yeah. So the story with this car, okay, if you want to ask me why I bought two, right, it's a very, very simple answer. The number plate, it's my initials, well, my initials jumbled up, and my birthday. So this car belonged to my wife's friend, who put it up on sale on Instagram. My wife asked me, hey, you wanna? Your birthday, your name and birthday, you know. I was like, really or not? You know, I was the one with doubts actually, and my wife was the one that chuchok me. So in the end, I met the seller. I tabled an offer. It took a few days, right, before anything happened. I didn't even test drive the car when I bought this. I actually started the car. I heard for sounds. I sent it to my mechanic, have him do the diagnostics, check the undercarriage. He said the car is healthy. I said, okay, that's good enough for me. The first time I drove this car was when the seller sent the car to my house. I drove him back home. That was my first time driving the car.
Okay. Now, it's worth pointing out, this is a 520i. So this is the base 2.2 litre straight six, yes?
Yeah.
And this is a 525i.
525, yeah.
Right, so this is slightly larger.
Slightly larger.
Right. So the thing is, there are going to be lots of small differences between these cars. But given that this is the new acquisition, tell us a little bit more about this.
Now, this car has a very interesting history. This was formerly an embassy car. This was a former embassy car. I'm not sure which country it is. Former embassy car, because the specs in this car is weird.
Okay.
It's weird. So you won't find a similar spec E39 in Malaysia. Fabric seats, manual adjustment, 60-40 split folding rear seats. Yeah, so these are the things, and also it has a lower spec instrument cluster than this one. So this car is this was a run-off batch. This was the last batch car.
The last and the best.
Yeah,
the one
where they
BMW
throw in all
everything.
the good barangs in there, memory seats, high spec clusters. So I've learned to, you know, the high spec. This high spec cluster has a hidden diagnostic mode, right? Which I can go in. If I suspect the car has coolant problems, I can go in and monitor temperature. I can go in and scan for error codes. This one does not have that. This one has a lower grade instrument cluster. So that's something that I'm a bit not used to. The overall trim level of this car, generally speaking, is lower than this. So going from this to this, really the only upgrade is the engine.
Okay. Now, as you said earlier, again, all the car you'll ever need. Now you have two. How do you see yourself dividing the duties between the two cars?
So this I'm letting my wife drive this. This will be primarily my wife's car. This will now be my workhorse.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did, because you did mention that your wife prefers driving 5 Series. Admittedly, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the it car for you.
This will be the car that I go around in.
Right. From what the viewers can see now, and also from the B-roll that we can add to this video later on, you can tell that there are a few things in this car that need some doing.
Oh,
so
some.
How much attention do you intend to lavish on this? And more importantly, are there upgrades coming to this at some point?
I've already bought upgraded brakes for this car. Okay. So you see, with the E39, and this is an upgrade that I highly recommend to anybody. The front discs on 525 models and below are smaller.
I see.
Okay, so the 530i has bigger discs, bigger front discs, and I've already made that upgrade to this car. Okay. So I'm going to do it for this one as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that improves the stopping power of the car tremendously, because this is a heavy car.
Yes, indeed. But those who follow Kon's channel, which is linked in the description below, will know that this car now has an M Sport suspension setup, which was not standard.
M Sport suspension. I've changed the absorbers and the springs. The anti-roll bars are sitting in the boot waiting to be installed in my next visit to the mechanic. This one has courtesy from the previous owner, H&R with Bilstein V8s.
Okay,
so it's surprisingly more comfortable than I anticipated it to be. Yeah. So my initial plan was to immediately, upon getting the car, to take it out, put back either standard and full suspension, and sell it to fund other upgrades. But after driving it with the HNR and Bilstein V8s, I'm okay to keep it for a while longer. But if anybody of you want to make me an offer, I'm ready. I'm all ears.
Sempat.
Yeah. But the thing about this is, this car, besides an oil change and new tires, I practically need no mechanical fixes with this car. Oh, the seat adjustment. The seat adjustment mechanism is gone, but those are the only fixes I need. Yeah.
Okay. So clearly you bought this. Yes, you bought it for the number plate. Most of us buy plates for plates.
Yeah.
Not many of us buy the car with the plate.
Yeah.
The whole car
yeah,
with the plate.
Yeah.
So since this is dividing duties, this is the car for the wife, his and hers
Yeah,
BMWs.
yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Now that you've got the two, what happens to the S-Max?
S-Max I will continue to keep, because S-Max right now I have 3 adults at home and 2 kids. That's the only car that I can carry my whole family. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't watch my channel, my wife and I, we are staying with my sister-in-law, and I've got 2 kids. The S-Max is the car that fits 3 adults and 2 child seats. That's the only car that will do it. I mean, I can carry all of them in either of these cars, but it would mean 1 kid, not in a child seat, and I can't complicate that, right?
Yeah.
So but when next in a year or 2 time, my sister-in-law gets married, boyfriend already proposed. So when she gets married, she start with her future husband. Then that would be when we consider to downsize the garage.
And then it will just be his and hers E39s.
Until she decides that she wants a new ride, then at the time I will probably let one go. I haven't decided which one though.
Okay. Well,
it's not smart to have 2 E39s lah. However much I love this car, it's not. I don't see it as a forever thing. Yeah.
But you clearly hedged your bets. The experiences that you've learned with the silver car have taught you.
I paid all my school fees with this car already. I paid all my school fees with this car. Now the funny story is this, when I picked this car up, pristine inside out. The paintwork looks nice. There were some dings, but the paint was good. The interior was immaculate. The undercarriage was clean. But because this car belonged to a multi-car owner, the previous owner of this car had 7 cars, and from what I heard, worked offshore. So he didn't have time to drive all his cars, and as a result, this car was sitting a lot, even though he cared for it quite meticulously, but it was sitting a lot. So the suspension bushes needed, the whole suspension setup needed to be refreshed. A lot of rubber hosings need to be changed, and valve cover gasket, ignition coils, a lot of things that was the result of the car sitting, underutilized for too long. They were all adding up. So it took me about 6 months before this car was in a state that I felt confident using it as a daily driver. This one, on the other hand, the exterior is worn. There's also a bit of wear in the interior, but mechanically, this car is robust. The previous owner did a major overhaul last year. So this car basically was just buy and drive. All I had to do, and I still haven't done, oil change. I had to change the wheels because the previous rims that came with this car were running on spacers. And I wasn't comfortable with that. So I swapped the rims from this car over to there, and I bought a new set for this one. And that's it. The only thing that really needs fixing will be the seat mechanism.
Okay. Well, we won't take up any more of the time. It is very bright early on a Sunday morning. I've no doubt that you have many things to do as a family man with 2 children, and now with 2 more to care for. So again, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure catching up with you.
We're glad that industry colleagues are relatively close. We're a small, closely knit community. So it's glad to see that this is not an addiction.
It's not.
Because if it is, we need to nip this in the bud now.
But
clearly you've hedged your bets. You understand these cars very well. It's a passion that's grown.
Oh, believe me, this to me because of how well I know these cars, this is to me a safer purchase than buying a brand new Japanese B segment car, right? Because at the end of the day, let's say like in 3-4 months down the road, if I decide I can't live with two of them, I can sell either car and recoup all, if not a large chunk of the expenses made.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for bringing out both of your E39s.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
If you want to learn more about Kon and his E39 problem, you can find his channel linked in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon so that you're notified every time we make a new upload. Don't forget,
the button is down there, I think, right? It should be there.
Somewhere there.
Somewhere there.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All the links are in the description below. Don't forget to stay safe, mask up, maintain
distance.
Exactly. Stay healthy, stay safe. Jangan bodoh. My name is AIMAN ABDULLAH. This is Malaysian Motoring. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care.